Today we have a place to bury strangers from the United States joining us to our talk session in Total Feedback. This is Kei Yanagawa from CAUCUS, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah. Can we have you introduce yourselves to fans watching the stream?
Yes. Hello, how's it going? I'm Oliver Ackerman.
Hi, I'm Sandra.
I'm John Bowitz.
We are Presentation.
Okay, this is your tour in Japan, and we're interviewing in the tour on November. And how many times have you toured Japan?
This would be the third time for the
He's the first for our tour with Oliver, but Sandra and I toured here in 2018, and then I toured here in 2009. Played with you.
Yeah, I played with Ceremony with CAUCUS.
Thanks for
how's the impression of Japan? Was it different than what you had imagined before?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's really kind of awesome to be there. I mean, that's you kind of going to see different things. You see all of it's, I don't know, you can't expect what it's going to be like.
Yeah, and also it's so cool to be able to play multiple places in one city and seeing different faces every night.
Today's show is held in a town called KOENJI, and KOENJI is a cultural town in Tokyo. There's a lot of cool places, venues, and record shops, and many more. Have you been here to KOENJI before?
It's my first time.
I don't think I have either. Yeah.
I think I might have. I'm not quite sure. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, A Place to Bury Strangers is quite a dreadful name. What does it come from?
It's from an Aleister Crowley poem, which is called Awful Dhamma, and it's talking about a place to bury strangers. But a dear friend of ours that we went on tour with thought that it meant something in a totally different light, which I really liked. Where he said that at A Place to Bury Strangers show, it's a place where everyone can bury the idea that they were strangers. So everyone becomes friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a good story. not a scary one. Cool. Lily has some questions about the new album that you released this year.
Cool.
Yes, we released album CD this year.
Yes.
We'd like you to introduce it to the Japanese audience. Is there a specific concept or theme?
Yeah, I mean, the album was written at a time when the band was falling apart, and it was sort of, I don't know, I just kind of felt really sort of kind of betrayed by my friends, and so it was a very tough time for me, and it was I felt like I was going crazy, and I was writing this music while I was dealing with that, while also the pandemic hit, and then in New York it turned to this ghost town, and it seemed like the world was going to end, and so it's sort of going through that journey. Yeah, it's a very happy album.
Yeah.
Can I do some Death by Audio questions as well?
Sure.
Your sound is loud, sharp, and aggressive, which is bringing me to death with audio. Do Death by Audio effects take an important role in sound making of your recordings and live shows?
Yeah, definitely. It's that's even one of the reasons to kind of design these effects, is to make things which we want to use. So we have the luxury of using things that nobody else can use. And so yeah, and we even love the sound of things which are kind of almost broken. And so if you can't quite build it right and it's half broken, perfect. So, yeah, and I think we use almost exclusively the audio pedals. And
I don't know what my sound would be like without it.
Oh.
I would be missing something for sure.
It's the sound of a place to bury strangers. That's my audio.
What really made you start making your own pedal drum?
I mean, I was exploring different things to sort of create music. John and I were in a band, and we sort of would have to kind of do everything. We weren't really getting support in any sort of way, so we would release our own records and silkscreen our own t-shirts and make posters and book our own tours, and all of these things we taught ourselves. And we were recording our own albums, and so it just was a natural progression. You want things to get crazier and explore where you can go with all of these things. So you start taking apart your guitars, you take apart your amplifiers, you try to build them into something else, and you turn, whatever you can into things which can create a cool.
And he would buy pedals constantly whenever we saw one. This is before the internet, there's no reviews. And we would, or when the infancy of the internet, it was very small. And he would buy these pedals thinking it's gonna be the next craziest thing, and he was always disappointed. So and then he would take it apart and see if he could do modifications on it, and sometimes it would break. And then it was a neat progression to watch.
Great. So a lot of try and error in those pedals to happen.
Yeah, and sometimes I think you find some of the most beautiful, cool things kind of by a total accident. And that's even been a lot of the basis of our shows and playing live and stuff. You have these moments where you don't know what's going to happen, and you kind of leave it up to chance, and nobody knows what's going to happen. And then often what does happen is so much better than anything you could have written or planned.
How about the live shows? Do you try with some special tricks to reproduce the soundscape of the recordings, or you mostly experimental around with the sound?
I feel like that there's, the same thing with the recording too, like there's a time and a place and a moment for this thing. You really just, the goal is make it sound as incredible and awesome and engaging at that time. And if you kind of are trying to, recreate something, you'll sort of lose the spiritual kind of connection you can have with the audience and with the song that you're playing. You use almost the song as kind of a vehicle to sort of get there, so you have this basis of everyone kind of knows a little bit of the vibe of what's going to happen, but really you need to kind of let go and let free to really create something it's better than the recording. And it only happens at that moment, and every show is a little bit different, and it really brings a stronger connection with the people that are there, and kind of really transforms us in that moment to even feel like we're really in someplace or out in space or whatever.
Another question. What is your impression of Japanese music?
I think I love the Japanese music scene. I think that the people are so focused on an idea, so often. So it's really concise and
it's intimidating sometimes.
It is true.
How good you guys are. Yeah.
That's true.
Can you give us a message to fans in Japan?
Please come tonight.
Yeah, come
In
to our
every
shows.
show,
Thanks for supporting A Place for Strangers.
Yeah. And we're
Thanks for
excited.
having us.
We're excited to play.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Okay, so that's about it. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Heck yeah. Thank you.
Shall we just stay here?
もともと好きな色が灰色なんですけど、シルバーも好きで、そのゼマイスティスを最初知った時にすごいシルバーっていう、シルバーだって全面シルバーをしてるみたいな印象を受けて、めちゃめちゃかっこいいなと思ったんですけど、
言うまでもないとは思いますが、このやっぱり彫刻の感じが、私とウィリアム・モリスの壁紙とかすごい好きなんですけど、それに通ずるような植物のこういうデザインがすごく可愛くて、で綺麗だし、すごく一番気に入ってるポイントですね。
あとはこのシルバーに彫り込みデザインが入ってて、これリーフ柄って草模様いうらしいんですけど、可愛さもありつつおしゃれさありつつかっこいいみたいないろんな要素があるギターだと思っていて、めちゃめちゃ気に入っています。ところどころこういった部分にも彫り込み要素があったりして、はい、すごくかっこいいなと思います。
あとは結構ゼマイティスってやっぱり黒とかのイメージも強いんですけど、これが茶色を基調にしてて、それもなんかこう柔らかい感じがあって、ちょっと反対なんですけど、そういう調和がすごく好きです。
以前使ってたのがグレコのギターだったんですけど、それが結構ローが響かないなってちょっと思ったりして、でそのダウソフトの方でローを足したりとかしてたんですけど、でその時に、このゼマイティス楽器をちょっと出会ってで演奏してみたところ、結構ローもちゃんと響くというか、ローもハイもどっちも綺麗にバランスよくなるなっていうのがすごく良くて、その違いがすごくあるなと思って、すごく響くいいギターだなと思います。
私がやってるバンドだと結構私はバッキングギターを担当してるんですけど、私はどっちかっていうとミッドとかローに寄っていて、でしっかりこう隙間を埋めてっていう作業になるんですけど、そこがすごい得意なんだろうなという感じの音域で、すごいクリーンにしても綺麗だし、とてもいい音だなという感じですね。
やっぱり好きなところはこのなんていうんですかね、ちょっとメタリカルなデザインというか、かっこよさというか、そういうのが前面に押し出ているところがいいなとすごく思います。ライブとかで持っててもすごく映えるし、ちょっと注目を浴びるようなギターだと思っています。
よくファンの方からも言われるんですけど、ギターのここがキラキラしててすごい良かったよって言われるので、もう持ったら可愛いこと間違いないと思いますはい、おすすめです。